Next is suggestions and tips. So was asked, can you tell us about your experience so far doing transshipping from Indonesia? Is there any suggestion for Indonesian breeders? So the first one would be to be transparent and honest as much as possible. I think this is a good way of being as a person and as being to do business. If you're transparent, meaning you try to not hide anything and to talk the truth and to be honest and to not bring the price up, bring the price down, and be try to steal from the person because that will not get you anywhere, and people will see that, and you will lose business, and with time, no one will buy from you. So I think this is a general rule. To be like that is to be honest and transparent. And the more you're like that, the more people will respect you and they will come back and they will buy from you. Yoga.
Oke, ya, jadi ini adalah saran dan tips ya teman-teman untuk pasar Kanada. Jadi yang pertama adalah eh, transparansi dan juga kejujuran dalam berjualan gitu ya teman-teman. Jadi transparan artinya adalah bicara apa adanya gitu ya, tidak menaikkan harga terus menurunkan harga mungkin uh, ya jadi tidak berusaha untuk mengambil terlalu banyak keuntungan mungkin ya dari uh, pembeli di sana kalau bahasa Denny tadi steal from them jadi nggak kayak ngerampok gitu mungkin bahasa ininya ya di Indonesia. Jadi kalau teman-teman melakukan itu kan itu akan berdampak buruk juga bagi teman seller sendiri dan juga mungkin nanti pembelian kepada teman-teman juga akan menurun seperti itu justru. Jadi kejujuran dan juga transparansi itu menjadi kunci utama atau aturan terpenting untuk transaksi di Kanada seperti itu dan juga mungkin di belahan dunia lainnya juga seperti itu.
Right. Okay. So the next point is something that I've noticed and it's happened to me many times, and it seems to be a popular way, is if you start to chat with somebody and they're asking about certain fish, and then the breeder or the seller will just send multiple photos and videos and just boom, boom, boom. And we call that a video bomb, photo bombs. And this is very annoying. And I've had a lot of buyers tell me this, that so it will turn off somebody and it's perceived as aggressive. So you don't want to do that. You want to avoid doing that. And I think this um, my next point about that was that instead you should have a YouTube channel to post your videos and give them the link. Let them go and see if they're interested. Don't force it on them by sending them 10 videos in one shot. Okay. So yoga.
Ya, jadi poin kedua ini adalah eh, hal-hal yang sering Denny dengar dari customer di Kanada gitu ya teman-teman. Kalau mereka apa ngontek gitu ya, ngontek buyer di Indonesia itu sering dapat eh, jadi mereka akan kirim banyak sekali foto dan video dalam waktu yang eh, serentak gitu. Jadi sekali chat langsung kirim banyak foto itu akan mengganggu buat mereka dan itu akan dianggap agresif gitu. Jadi jangan kalau kita dihubungin oleh buyer kita jangan langsung kirim foto atau video sebanyak-banyaknya. Ya mungkin harapannya supaya banyak ikan kita dilihat gitu ya. Tapi itu akan mengganggu buat mereka. Jadi saran dari Denny adalah mungkin si seller-seller di sini bisa membuat channel YouTube gitu ya dan kirim linknya ke calon buyer yang menghubungi kita gitu. Jadi biarkan aja mereka browsing di YouTube channel teman-teman untuk melihat ikan-ikan yang teman-teman jual dan itu akan lebih nyaman juga buat mereka. Jadi teman-teman juga tidak dianggap agresif dan ataupun mengganggu seperti itu. Gitu
This
ya.
can be mostly for new buyers. I mean, unless they specifically ask you to send them the videos, I understand. But when you're just
Hmm.
discussing and the person asks the price and then you're just sent a whole bunch of videos and pictures, uh, I don't think that's the right approach. So just that point.
Ya, ya. Jadi kalau eh, ada buyer menghubungi, terus kita langsung mengirimkan banyak foto dan video dalam tempo yang bersamaan, itu bukan uh, pendekatan yang baik gitu, teman-teman, menurut Denny.
Okay.
Oke.
So the last, I mean, I don't have too many tips, any suggestions, but one thing I noticed with the fish coming in, we get a lot of betta. Sometimes the betta are packed in very small bags. I don't think that's the best option. I've seen, I don't, Yoga, I don't remember the size of the bags you use, but there's one bag that's a little larger, when the bettas are in the larger bag. I don't, what
Ya,
size bag?
for
Uh,
for beta we usually use the normal price one is bag size 12 by 25 centimeters, 12 centimeters by 25, so it's pretty big for beta.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember what size that is exactly, but I know there's better in a larger bag,
Mhm.
and I think I've seen some swordtails in those size bags as well.
Ya, ya.
But then I see some bettas come in. Maybe the betta's a little smaller, but it's in a very small, the smallest bag, which would be like the size of a guppy bag.
Mhm.
Uh, this is too small, and I think that because the shipment is being, this could be probably a fish that was not repacked. It was sent from the seller, and you just forward it. Maybe he didn't ask for a repack. I don't know if we can. Maybe he can just send it with a bigger bag to start with, and I think the fish will have a better chance. We'll see less DOA because we've seen some fish that died. Maybe it was because the bag was too small. The water got polluted or there wasn't enough air. I don't know. So I've seen that the larger bags seem to do better, and I think it's a better thing as a general rule of thumb. So I wanted to mention that.
Oke, ya, poin terakhir adalah soal kemasan ya teman-teman. Jadi kalau bisa memang pengiriman ke Kanada itu menggunakan plastik yang paling besar yang memungkinkan gitu. Jadi untuk beta itu memang kita biasanya pakai plastik 12 kali 25. Ya, lebih baik memang kita repack. Jadi kalau SOP di JBG sendiri kan memang kita ada tanggal closing gitu teman-teman. Jadi tanggal terakhir untuk penerimaan ikan di sini, dan ikan akan dikarantina di sini kemudian di repack seperti itu. Jadi kita akan repack ke dalam kemasan yang sesuai standar. Jadi akan aman untuk sampai di tujuan. Jadi itu akan lebih baik. Jadi sebisa mungkin teman-teman bisa kirim ikannya sesuai di tanggal closing saja. Jadi tidak mepet gitu ya. Jadi tidak ada waktu untuk kita repack dan itu akan lebih banyak resiko seperti untuk resiko DOA gitu ya, dead on arrival. Jadi ya itu untuk menjaga supaya pengiriman kita aman semua, mungkin lebih baik kita ikuti jadwal sesuai tanggal closing untuk ikan sampai di sini dan kita akan melakukan repacking untuk ikan teman-teman begitu. Oke.
Sometimes these fish are DOA when they arrive to me, but mainly the point is because I don't repack fish unless I see the fish is struggling, the water's dirty. I'll do it. A lot of times I just take the bag and I just repack in a box, so I forward. So it's got another day to 2 days more to go. So I'll receive the shipment on a Sunday. I I ship it on Monday, so it's in the bag overnight, and then Monday it goes out in the afternoon, and the customer receives on the Tuesday. So you've got to consider there's 2 more days after it arrives here. So already with the shipment, that's probably 1.5 days. So it's going to be three, sometimes 4 days. So uh, that's a good reason to have a bigger bag. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did you say you sent the fish on Monday?
Yes, my shipments arrive on Sunday generally,
Sunday.
always Sunday morning. So they're in the bag all day Sunday, and then I send it out on Monday, so the customer receives on Tuesday.
Ya,
So
oke. Jadi itu alasan lebih banyak untuk di repacking di sini ya, teman-teman, karena ya banyak ikan yang tidak di repack akan yang diterima sudah mati di tempatnya Denny. Dan di sana juga biasanya tidak di repacking kecuali Denny melihat ikannya eh, ya struggling gitu ya, agak agak bermasalah mungkin dengan packingannya, itu akan di repacking di sana. Tapi mayoritas itu tidak di repacking ulang. Jadi shipment dari Indonesia akan tiba di Kanada hari Minggu biasanya. Kemudian ikan langsung di packing ulang oleh Denny ke dalam box-box begitu untuk dikirim ke buyer dan akan dikirim di hari Senin. Dan biasanya sih diterima oleh buyer di hari Selasa gitu ya. Jadi kalau ikannya tidak di repack di sini itu akan cukup lama jadinya di plastik. Jadi dari hari mungkin hari Sabtu ya, dari hari Sabtu sampai dengan hari Selasa itu baru diterima di tangan pembeli. Jadi memang lebih baik eh, ikan tiba di JPG tepat waktu, jadi kita bisa melakukan repacking supaya pengiriman lebih aman. Jadi sampai dibayar juga lebih aman seperti itu.
I think
Oke,
it's a general way of doing I think all transshippers are doing this, so maybe this is not applying just to me.
ya.
Uh, we're in the world, especially the US. So uh, yeah, perhaps I could repack certain fish. If the breeder requests it and is worried, I could always do it. I charge a little fee extra to the customer. So if it's important, I'll tell the customer that the breeder requested it, and I'll 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 suggest it as well, you know. We can try that. If the breeder thinks that's a good thing, if I should have the time, I could do it.
Oke, jadi memang ini uh, apa ya, prosedur umum yang dilakukan oleh transhipper negara tujuan ya. Jadi tidak hanya Denny yang melakukan seperti ini. Tapi sebetulnya kalau breedernya request untuk di repack di sana bisa. Nanti mungkin akan ada biaya tambahan dari Denny ke bayarnya. Tapi kalau teman-teman kira perlu di repacking di sana, teman-teman bisa request ke Denny seperti itu. Kalau ada ya kalau memang dibutuhkan nanti Denny akan coba untuk lakukan seperti itu. Oke.